Layer 1 of the ultimate serial killer iceberg. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, was an American serial killer who committed the murder of 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. His crimes involved despicable and horrifying things performed on the bodies of his victims, including the placement of body parts throughout his apartment. Dahmer was apprehended in 1991 after one of his intended victims escaped and led police to his apartment, where they discovered gruesome evidence of his murders. He was convicted of 15 out of the 16 murders and was committed in Wisconsin, facing the death penalty. However, in 1994, Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate named Christopher Scarves at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. John Wayne Gacy never received the death penalty of which he was sentenced to. John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer who was active during the 1970s in Chicago, Illinois, and he was convicted of the murder of 33 young men and boys. Gacy often lured his victims to his home, whether it be through a job offer or other means, before he would assault, torture, and murder them. He buried most of his victims' bodies in the crawl space under his house, and was also known for performing at children's parties and events dressed as Pogo the Clown, which in turn earned him the infamous nickname of the Killer Clown. The Killer Clown was arrested in 1978, convicted in 1980, and executed by lethal injection in 1994, and to this day, his case remains one of the most notorious and disturbing in American criminal history. Richard Ramirez. Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, was an American serial killer and burglar who terrorized Southern California in the mid-1980s. Born in 1960, Ramirez committed a series of brutal crimes between 1984 and 1985, targeting men, women, and children. No one was safe to him. Everyone was his target. His crimes were characterized by extreme violence, often involving satanic rituals, as he often left behind pentagrams and other symbols at crime scenes. Ramirez was finally captured in 1985 after a group of citizens in East Los Angeles recognized him and detained him till police arrived. He was convicted in 1989 of 13 murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 assaults, and 14 burglaries. He was subsequently sentenced to death and died on death row in 2013, while awaiting his much-warranted demise. The Son of Sam is the nickname for David Berkowitz, an American serial killer who terrorized New York City in the late 1970s. Berkowitz, also known as the 44 caliber killer, committed a series of shootings between 1976 and 1977, killing 6 people and wounding several others. He was known for taunting the police and media through letters he sent, which in turn contributed to the widespread panic and hysteria. Claiming insanity, Berkowitz said his actions were spurred on by a demon that possessed his neighbor's dog, Harvey. He was eventually captured in August 1977 and confessed to the murders, which led to a sentence of life in prison, where he remains to this day. Charles Manson. Charles Manson was an American criminal and cult leader who gained infamy in the late 1960s. Manson was the leader of what he called the Manson family, a commune that emerged in California. Under Manson's command, his followers committed a series of murders, most notably killing the heir to the Folgers coffee empire in August of 1969. Manson believed in an impending apocalyptic race war he called Helter Skelter, a term borrowed from a song written by a little-known band called the Beatles. Manson was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder for the deaths of 7 people, including actress Sharon Tate. He spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2017.